I genuinely feel really bad. I was producing a series that was my favorite series I've ever made on the channel, and easily a series that I worked the hardest on, and I just stopped working. I know I just said it, but I feel genuinely really bad. Not just to the few people that were actually enjoying the series, but also to the friends I was playing on the server with, and mainly myself. I looked at the series as a way to document me and my friends playing through an entire mod pack, and it was going to be that until I just stopped. But here's the thing, your boy still has all that footage. Yep, that's 2 terabytes of recorded video of this series that I never got around to editing. 2 terabytes. It's all there up to the very last moments of us playing. I just didn't make the freaking episodes. I thought about the reason why I didn't for a really long time, because I've honestly felt pretty guilty about just having all this footage without ever finishing the series. I think the reason I never finished the series yet is a combination of 2 things. A, 2 terabytes of footage. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. That is what I have on backlog that I was having to slog through. You don't have to be an editing genius or really even understand the process of making YouTube videos to know that if I'm spending most every night editing the videos, how do I play and record more and progress the server? Where does that time go? Do I play for an hour and edit for 10? Or do I play for 10 hours and edit for 1 and just fall further and further behind? Or is there a mix in there that would find the perfect balance? If you want to progress a super grindy mod pack, you gotta play. But if you're gonna make videos on the mod pack, you gotta edit. It was kind of a situation I've never found myself in to this degree. The second reason being, these guys were updating the game constantly. Every couple weeks there's an update. The game is changing in massive ways, and it was very clear that we started this mod pack a little too early. There's way too many unbalanced things, there's glitches, all this stuff that the devs were trying to patch up, and we were just a little bit ahead of the curve. So not only do I have 2 terabytes of footage, the footage is rapidly changing because the entire gameplay loop is rapidly changing on a week-to-week or month-to-month basis, which made making these videos even weirder. I mean, some of these changes completely took out entire aspects of the game, or added entire aspects, as in the fundamental way you play the game was different. I mean, check out this screenshot. This is the current version I'm on of Vault Hunters, and that's what it wants me to update to. You want a visual representation of what that actually means? Take a look at this. Here's our latest patch, and here's where we stopped. I gotta slow down to figure out exactly where we stopped. Here, right here. We stopped shortly after this update. My last recorded video on the server was a couple weeks after this date. That is an insurmountable amount of changelog to get through. Completely absurd. I apologize for this long ramble here, but I really did need to explain some things. I know most people either don't watch the series, don't care about the series, or are not bothered by this at all, realistically, because it doesn't have any effect on their life. But this entire thing has been an actual burden. I just let this fester into a legitimate burden that I've had on the back of my mind this entire time. It just felt wrong. That's the simplest way I can explain it. Anyways, I don't know, maybe we hop back into some Vault Hunters? What I'm going to do, and I will not promise a single thing here. For my own sake, I want to document our entire journey on this mod pack up to what I have recorded. So I'm going to upload everything I have and get everything off my hard drive in video form. The entire time that my friend group hasn't played this mod pack, we have talked about redoing the mod pack. It has never left our group conscious. If I get through all this editing to quote unquote current day, I can then decide if I want to relaunch like a season 2 of Vault Hunters, because quite frankly, everything leading up to that point is going to be completely different from what the current game is, and I have no concept of what it turned into. Not a single hint. I don't even know if our world is going to be compatible anymore, or if we have it. I believe we have it, so we should be fine there. I will not promise a relaunch, as I don't want to find myself in the same exact situation, but that was always the idea since I stopped recording, to pick back up where we left off at some point in the future, which just hasn't happened yet. That might have been the longest intro yapping of all time. Thanks for listening, or skipping, or whatever. Bye. Gotcha. I'm actually not going anywhere. As this footage that followed the previous episode where we acquired netherite tools and whatnot was recorded on the same night that those tools and armor were acquired. Therefore, I'm assuming, if I can remember correctly, this is probably super late at night and I just wanted to get other stuff done. The several hours that followed were very quiet. I didn't say hardly anything, but what I did do is build. I have a pretty good memory, so I figured I would explain to you kind of the building process of this house. I wanted to build a house for EasyFire or Elias, as he wanted to come over and live with us in this area of the world. And he doesn't like building, and I like pretty things. I kind of wanted to take care of that and build something that matches the town that we envision building. So going into this build, all I knew is I wanted to match it moderately to what Declan had built for our home. I don't have a plan, I don't have a strategy, and I don't have any resources. So I harvest some leaves right here. I know I'm going to need them. I also know that I'm going to need an absurd amount of spruce. The thing about building houses on a brand new server is you don't have any resource, so it just gets aggravating trying to acquire the materials that you actually want to build out of. At this point I realized I should go check the armor that we put down, because I don't want to be missing the cooldowns from when I can exchange iron from our iron golem farm for emeralds. Turns out we didn't have that much iron generated due to the fact that no one was in this area while me and Declan were in the nether harvesting, so none of this loaded. A slight cat detour ensues, where I spotted a random cat. I'm able to catch him here and put him in the house, or at least lead him to the house. He was being a little bit uncooperative, but he's just going to go in the corner with all the other animals. I start to take stock of how much building resource we have here and realize that it's going to be a painful ride as we really don't have that much to build out of. At this point in Minecraft, I had actually gotten mildly confident just freeballing buildings because I really started to enjoy the process of building. And I've watched a lot of tutorials and kind of know how I should start a build, even though I still don't know how this build is going to turn out. I don't have any plan still. So I do the best possible thing you can do and lay out a framework on the ground. I also start to carve out the ground and follow the framework I laid. Once I construct a general outline of where the house is going to sit, you can actually start to plan it out in your mind what it's going to look like. I'm still very indecisive about building, so I always build a bunch of stuff and then tear it down because I don't like it, and remodel and then keep that process going. I figured I'll make the entryway 3 wide and use stone for the walls, but honestly I still don't know if that's going to be what the end product will be, but that's good enough for now. I move on to making all the walls the same and getting a border around the entire building. I carve out the floor at this point and just put spruce down, as it's a very safe building material to use and you can always rip it up at a later time. I know I wanted windows, but I didn't actually know where the windows were going to go, so I just started laying down glass just to see how it looked. In hindsight, this was kind of stupid because I didn't have a lot of glass. My plan was to get Elias a small but comfortable house to live in, so I knew I wanted a second floor, which meant I needed to find a place for the stairs. After tearing down a couple different staircase locations, I settled on this location, which I thought took up the least amount of room in this very small house, but that window wasn't going to fly. Sometimes when I get stuck, I like to switch up the area I'm working in, so I actually went outside here to try to figure out the window situation. I started to try to figure out what the actual windowsill would look like, so this is where I tried several different things. I'm talking 4 or 5 different things. Trying to build Elias a house right now. I'm struggling.
Do you need help or?
No. It'll get done. It's just tricky. You could kind of see where I was at mentally right there. I was already pretty mentally exhausted and I didn't really know what I was doing still, but I knew I needed more resource yet again. Time to shovel. I found that you can really hide a lot of the detail work by just placing potted plants and bushes on the exterior of your houses. Okay, I'm kind of cheesing it, but I'm getting around it. They're not going to back me in this corner. I at least want a ground floor and the design done.
I've been avoiding collecting shit for my house. So
Feel that.
Constant
battle over here.
Well, I have to make my own, because I'm moving away from you guys. I'm going to try to make my own little town.
Can't wait to get in a trade war. After a little bit of banter, I start to lay down a whole bunch of spruce trapdoors, which is a real problem of mine. I use way too many of those, or maybe not enough in my buildings. I don't know yet. I can kind of start to see the vision of the ground floor, so I decide that this back room is going to be a kitchen / the way to get down to a basement. I've only been working on this for 49 minutes, but it feels like an eternity. I was like, I'm going to build a quaint starter home, and now I'm getting out of control again. I head up to the second floor to try to finally figure out what these windowsills are going to look like, and I finally land on something that sticks. I knew that there was going to have to be something in this corner, but I wasn't sure what it was going to be yet, so I was thinking about making it into a closet / more storage. Yet again, we run out of resources, and we have to go mine some. fun. I adjust the front of the house here and finally land again on something that I enjoy. And I think that looks really good. I'm clearly still a little bothered by it, but it's good enough for now. So I work on the back of it. Whatever, I'm just not gonna get hung up on this. Again, I didn't plan on windows being here, so I can just fill this in with a little flower display. Same goes for this side over here, except this side's gonna be some bushes. I head back inside to kind of get a kitchen counter situated and also finally put in some chests and make a little cabinet. I knew I wanted to give him a basement, but I didn't want to make the whole basement, so I just decided to place the initial ladder to the basement. I'm going to leave that pretty unattended right now, as it's not that important. I get the lanterns on the front of the house and in the kitchen and head to the second floor. On the second floor, I'm even more lost than the first floor. I'm feeling pretty okay about the first floor at this point. The second floor is kind of going to be a mess. I went with a really simple roof just to not have to stress about it. So I just wrapped this roof all around with spruce and adjusted it later. Did a little detailing on the very top of the roof to give it some more texture. Still wasn't sure if I liked it at this point. And yet again, we run out of resources. We head into the basement to carve out a small room, so at least he knows kind of where the basement should be. I put down a potential chest area storage system, but I didn't want to press it further because, again, not really that important. He can figure that out. So we went back to the roof, and I knew that the roof was just too uniform, so I wanted to put in some sort of a window to give it some texture. I tried this initial window out of stone brick, but I thought it looked a little too weird, so I swapped it for mainly cobble. It was also very dark on the roof, so we had to add some lanterns. And here we're just adding a little bit more detailing above the bushes. I now went up to the second floor to try to formulate a strategy, because again, there's not a lot of space to work with. I knew he's going to want more storage than I currently have down, so I wanted to give him an attic to actually place maybe a couple chests in. I also finished up the bedroom area. That's pretty much as far as I got without commentating live, so I'm going to actually toss you back to In the Moment me. I wanted an episode that was a little bit lighter to kind of reintroduce everyone to the series, especially myself trying to edit these videos, and I think this is the perfect one. Next episode, I believe there's a lot more commentary and completely different scenery. I am so far in on this project already, and I didn't want to commit this much time to it, but whatever. Okay, so I said to myself that I wasn't going to do something crazy. I was just going to make a small house that kind of relatively goes with the theme of this place for Elias, or Easy Fire, because he doesn't really like building. It is close enough to the theme. Honestly, I just was completely winging it the entire time. I had no like concept of anything going into it, basically just moderately matching that. You know, listening back to myself, I think I might have had the big virus at this time. I sound pretty sick. It is not finished. I gotta correct a couple things because it still looks pretty off on the second floor. The first floor I do like. Second floor is a little bit off, but honestly, I just don't care right now. Like, this needs to be detailed and stuff. Like, it's a little weird. I didn't think about the dimensions or anything. I just started building. I'm gonna put some flower pots in. Probably like some leaves, like maybe right here. Probably at least another flower pot there. I still don't know, but we'll give you the grand tour here because I don't know what I actually included prior to this. I probably included a little bits of me building it, but little kitchen. It's cramped in here because I didn't really think about the plans of this place, but little kitchen. I'm going to fill in some furniture, something in here. I like so far how it's super bare bones, but I like how so far how it's coming along. Put something here because this is just not, it doesn't look good at all. Again, if I thought more about the dimensions, this wouldn't have happened. Not like I'm the greatest builder either. Like, I'm definitely getting a lot better, but got a lot to go. Little bedroom. I think I could add a little bit of detail in here, some lighting. And then I think, because he loves his storage, well, everyone loves their storage, I'm going to probably sneak in a bunch of chests up here as well. We should be able to fit in kind of a decent amount here. I have to figure out how I kind of want to do this. I got to finish this as well. But yeah, I think there should be a lot of chests up here. And then I put in a basement as well. You got a chest here, you got a chest here. And this is going to be like kind of a blacksmithing area. What I kind of wanted to do with this house was there's this cliff right over here. So I haven't checked this out yet. So I wanted to put like a balcony right here. I thought that would look really cool if there's a hanging balcony over this giant ravine. We could even put a bridge over this and put another something over there as part of his house. I think that would look really cool. He could even have a pathway from here to Brennan's house and our house, which would be pretty cool. That's something I'll get to after I finish the actual house. Honestly, you could continue to go down. You could have stairs somewhere as well, but I haven't thought that far ahead. But yeah, that's pretty much the little build I did today. If you're wondering, the total time to make this was just over 2 hours in recording time, but yeah, a lot of it, I would say probably 50%, 40% probably was just getting materials. Actually looks really good from a distance. I'm not sold, by the way, on that little lantern up there. I think it's kind of goofy, but I just needed something up there. It looks better from a distance than up close, actually. Yeah, not bad.